Hey guys, welcome back to DFS Bros. It's our first video in a few weeks. So I'd like to go ahead and apologize for that. Holidays, work, and the new year got ahead of us, but we are back with some NBA content and hopefully some NFL playoff content for this weekend. Today we're trying to do the NBA slate for January 6th. We're each trying to give you a point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. I'll let Kirk go ahead and start us off with whatever position he wants to start off with.
All right, so I'm going to start off at the top of point guard. I think that this position pretty much everywhere looks pretty deep tonight. It's going to be a stars and scrub night once we get the slate breaking news. Everyone's waiting to see if Kawhi sits, and then if George sits also. Man, there's so many Clippers at 4,000.
Yeah.
So many. So once we get that news, lock and load them, grab all the stars you want. There's a ton of guys that can score 50+. But as far as value, I'm going to go ahead and take Pat Beverly. He's only 4,000. He scored 48 points last night. He has the ability to do that pretty much any night if given the time, between three-pointers, steals, assists, points, everything. He just needs the ball in his hand, and I believe that with Kawhi out, that's a possibility that could happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pat Bev, most of these cheap Clippers guys, they're really good tonight. I have one of them in my player pool as well. I'll get to in a few picks. But my point guard is John Wall at 7,400. I feel like he's way too cheap for the production he's put out so far. He's played 3 games, and 2 of those games have been over 45. And one game was only 25, but James Harden also had a down game that game. So I think John Wall is way too cheap at 7,400. It's going to be the last times we see him at this price range if he continues to put out the output that he has been doing. I can see him continue to put up 40+ day in, day out.
All right, so who you got at shooting guard?
I'm going to go with Dante DiVincenzo. I think this is a dude that I've played more on DraftKings this year than anyone else. I see him as a really, really high upside, really high ceiling, and a pretty high floor as well. He's averaging around 1 point per minute. By that 1 point per minute, I mean 1 fantasy point per minute. And he looks like however many minutes he plays, it literally transfers that over to his fantasy points. If he plays 20 minutes, he's going to get you 20 points. If he plays 30 minutes, he's going to get you 30 points. At 5,100, I think he's right in line to get you the 5x that you need, that most people are looking for fantasy basketball. And I think he can do that. Like I said, if he plays 30 minutes, he'll get you to the 30 points that you would want from him, which would be around 6x his price. I think he's a great boom bust guy, like I said, with a pretty high floor and a pretty high ceiling as well. Kirk, where's yours?
All right, so I'm going to Sweet Lou, another guy from this Clippers game. Lou Williams is only 4,400. That's pretty impossible to believe. A guy that sometimes we talk about 6th man of the year, guy who can just score at will. Tonight, I would not be shocked if he scored 25+ real points. Mm-hmm. This team total is sitting at 116.5 right now, which is one of the highest on the slate. So locking in all these 4K guys, like I said, just is a great, great plan. And then it leaves you a lot of salary to get the Hardens, the Giannis's, the Embiid's. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lock up Lou Will, shooting guard.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Now we're going to get to my Clippers player at small forward. I'm going Nicholas Batum. 4,900. I know Kirk likes the other pieces a lot in this game, a little bit more than he likes Batum, but I think Batum will be overlooked compared to the other guys, as no one looks at Batum and goes, yeah, I want to play him. Yeah, let me lock him into my lineup. It's one of those gross feelings. Makes you want to puke, but I'm willing to do that.
Even in his prime, he was never that sexy pick. He was always that guy that got you 12 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks, a steal, and then finished with 35 points. And you're like, how?
Yeah,
man, I wish I was on him.
Yeah,
I can see him easily with fire tonight.
Last night he had 40.1 DraftKings points, and I think tonight he can easily get over 30, especially since going against Golden State, which has a very, very weak defense. It's one of the worst defenses in the NBA. One of the worst defenses we've ever seen. They have Steph Curry, and that's literally it. You have James Wiseman, that's literally it. And with Kawhi Leonard resting and Paul George might be out, that's what, 70% of usage being split across the rest of the team, it's insane that how much usage is going to be given to these other guys, and all these cheap guys, like Kirk said, all in the 4,000s. They will all be great role players tonight. So Kirk, who's your small forward?
So a guy that I picked as one of my most improved players this year, Jason Tatum. He's not getting the recognition that he deserves. Right now, he's averaging close to 50. He's only a 9K player, and he's right at 9K. So with him, he could drop 30 points. He shoots a ton of threes. DK has that 3-point bonus. It's just a lot of reasons why this guy should be close to the 10K salary and just isn't. 5 of his 8 games so far, he scored 48 or more points. So it looks like this game is gonna be another 48, 50-point game, and I'll take it at 9,000.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot too. I don't like Jason Tatum because he's a Celtic, but I mean, he's a fantastic basketball player. That he is very, very fantastic with fantasy basketball output. Kirk, you want to go and tell us your power forward?
All right. So this is a little bit of a revenge, and by revenge, this man is it's insane. Whenever he plays the Celtics, he just goes off. Kelly Olynyk, he's a hustler. Everybody knows him for that. He started off the year slow. He only scored like 12 and then like 18 fantasy points his first 2 games. Really wasn't involved at all. And then after that, has put up 20s, 30s, multiple 30-point games actually, 32 twice, and he has 2 40-point games against the Celtics. Every time he goes there, he has something against this team. He likes to show them what they missed out on. And like I said, I love high-energy guys like that who can also shoot threes. I wouldn't be shocked if he took 10 3-pointers tonight. If he made 6 of them, I mean, that right there does it all. But this is a guy that could get you a double-double. And at 4,400 power forward center, if you don't have him on your team and he goes for that 40, it's not going to be looking good for you tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Kelly Olynyk as well. He seems like a good player for tonight. My power forward, I'm going with DeAndre Hunter from the Atlanta Hawks. He's 5,400. He's been on fire the last few games, and not priced appropriately for the production that he's been giving. He is averaging 30.1 points per game at 5,400, which is right in line in returning value. He is someone who can get you 6x, way too cheap, like I said, for the production he's giving out. He's had 1 game under 20, and he didn't even play the full 30 minutes. And then he had 2 games in the 20 range, and both of those, they were a little bit out of hand. But the other 3 games that he played were all over 30 and even some over 40. I think he's a good spot, 5,400, to take a bet on.
All right, you want to go ahead and tell me that your center is going to be Embiid?
I mean, I'm wearing my Ben Simmons jersey. I should have worn my Embiid jersey. But, yeah, it's Joel Embiid, 9,800. It might be a little bit of a homer pick, but the center is the most valuable position in fantasy basketball. They get you double-digit rebounds, and most of the time they get you double-digit points, which equal the double-double bonus for DraftKings. So they get a lot of usage from, like I said, rebounds and those back-to-the-basket points. He had 52 fantasy points against the Wizards in the first game of the year, in a game that should have been closer, should have been further away than it was. The Wizards kept in it. They will fight every single game they have up until the last second and then lose it. The only thing that really scares me about this Joel Embiid pick is Doc Rivers came out the other day and said they want to average him around 32, 33 minutes a game, and he will rest most back-to-backs. And tomorrow the Sixers are playing Tomorrow the Sixers are playing the Nets. Granted, the Nets will be without KD, but there's a slight possibility Embiid will sit either tonight or tomorrow. So keep an eye on that right there. But at 9,800 against Thomas Bryant, I could see him going 25 and 10, 25 and 15 with 3 or 4 assists and 3 blocks.
If Embiid sits, give me one name.
Thomas Bryant.
Okay.
I'll go to the center on the other side. I was looking at the game that Embiid was out. They had Dwight Howard play 15 minutes and Tony Bradley play 17 minutes. And then our third center on the team didn't play anything at all. So that was literally only 32 minutes of a center being out there whenever there's 48 minutes of the game. And there was 3 or 4 minutes where they were on the court at the same time. So the center on the Sixers with Joel Embiid out it's going to be a toss-up between any of them. Obviously, Dwight Howard is an amazing handcuff backup, but like I said, I would probably just go to the other side with Thomas Bryant, as he should be able to get really high production against a pretty bad backup center, Tony Bradley.
All right, so at center, I'm going to give you two names. The first one's going to be pretty easy, Giannis. All the value that we've said today, you can pay up for Giannis. I like Giannis as the top stud of the night. He's easily going to get 60 points pretty much almost every other night. So it's just so nice to have that luxury of the safe pick.
Mm-hmm.
But if Wood for Houston is out, Boogie will start and will be amazing. We're looking at a guy that could take 15 to 25 shots just out of spite. He just gets in every time he touches the ball, he throws it up, gets a ton of rebounds, can get steals, blocks. This isn't the Boogie of old, but his usage just skyrockets whenever he's in.
Yeah.
He doesn't get that many minutes, but if you can lock me in 30 minutes, I'm locking you in for 30 points. I love it at 4,300.
Yeah, when you asked me if Embiid sits, my mind immediately went to DeMarcus Cousins, but I was thinking Kirk mentioned he wanted to talk about him, so I wasn't gonna say him. So, but yeah, Boogie Cousins is really the guy that I would put in over Thomas Bryant, of course. Stack him with John Wall and watch John Wall feed him the ball like they were back in Kentucky.
All right, guys, I think that just about does it. Watch for news. It's breaking. Use the late swap, and let's make money.
Don't forget to put your later player guys in the guard, forward, and utility positions. Make sure you follow us on Twitter for late updates. We will be on throughout tonight. Y'all have a good one. Happy New Year, and I'm glad that we're back making a video. See y'all later.
Later.